Good evening. My name is Betty Seckham, and I'm going to interview Clinton Seckham this evening. He's a longtime resident of the San Fernando Valley, and I think he maybe can give us some interesting insights as to what the valley was like a long time ago. First, let me introduce you to Clinton Seckham.
Hello, folks.
When did you come to the valley?
The very beginning of 1919,
That's a ways back. How old were you when you came?
just about 9 months old. No, less than that, 7.
Chances are you don't remember a whole lot about the valley
No, I don't.
back in 1919. About what point do you begin to have some recollections of what it was like?
Not terribly long after that.
No.
I do know that my father says that at that time, it was possible to go on Ventura Boulevard all the way from our home at Corbin to Hollywood and not to be able to count a dozen houses that could be seen from Ventura Boulevard.
That's amazing. I too was born here in the San Fernando Valley. I actually was born in Burbank, but not till 1926. So my early recollections of Ventura Boulevard are rather considerably different than yours. Your ranch, you grew up right on Ventura Boulevard.
That's right. We call it a ranch because our city friends and relatives called it a ranch, but it was really an orchard.
An orchard? What sort of orchard?
We had oranges and walnuts.
Really? Did you build the house? Or did your family build the house?
My father had it built.
No. Do you remember anything, living any place prior to living in that house?
No, I don't have recollection of living elsewhere.
No. How close were your closest neighbors?
About a mile.
Really?
And the nearest ones were a mile away east on Ventura Boulevard.
What was that area called?
Well, we were in Owensmouth, and just on the line now they say Woodland Hills from where we were.
Wasn't Owensmouth ultimately changed to Canoga Park?
That's right.
But where you were was not really what we would consider Canoga Park today.
Not today.
It would be Woodland Hills.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was Woodland Hills was Girard before that.
How large a family are you from?
Parents and my brother and I.
So it was you and your brother and your mother and father. Did you have any help on the ranch?
Oh yes, we had a foreman who had a wife and a daughter, and then in the bunkhouse the ranch hands were.
I see. I see. Were they Americans? What nationality were they?
U.S. for the most part. However, I remember one who was Armenian.
Really?
And who had come to New York as a child. The foreman was Canadian. The foreman's family was Canadian.
Did they have children with whom you and your brother played?
Well, we played with the daughter of the foreman.
No. Where did you go to school?
Started at Reseda Grammar School for first and second grade, and then they built the 4 bungalows in Tarzana, and I started there in the 3rd grade.
In the 3rd grade. Your father owned property other than the ranch?
Some, and he leased a lot of land either next to or not far from it.
Was there not some significance about some property at the corner of Ventura and what is now Reseda Boulevard?
Well, Daddy bought the northwest corner and subdivided it.
Really? Where the old drugstore used to be?
That's right. He built that building, which did have a drugstore, a grocery store, and a real estate office at the back end.
Now, would you remember when that was about?
Oh, middle 20s.
Because I can recall that drugstore very well. But I don't remember when the drugstore was not there. reminisce a bit on what it was like growing up on the ranch. I know your father was not typically a rancher. He was in business in Hollywood?
He was an attorney in the center of Los Angeles and drove back and forth daily during the week. Saturdays he conferred with the foreman and traveled around the ranch and leased area nearby. Sunday mornings he had a kind of legal clinic for the Mexicans who worked for us, and some came over from Owens Mouth.
Did your father speak Spanish?
Yes, he did.
Did the Mexicans who worked for you, for the most part, speak English?
Oh, they could speak some English, yes.
Did you and your brother have animals, or?
Well, we had generally a dog or two. And I can remember for a while, at one point we had guinea pigs, but mostly our contact with the animals was the animals we had around the house. We had a number of draft horses, which we used they were very useful when it was really too muddy for the tractors. And we had a couple of cows for our own milk, and for a while we had a bunch of chickens because it was supposed we could make some money at it, but we didn't, as I understand from my father.
You've seen a lot of changes in the San Fernando Valley in your lifetime.
Tremendous change.
What do you suppose strikes you as, I mean, other than just growth and the fact that the valley has become almost a metropolitan area? I guess the Ventura Freeway is probably somewhere on what was at one time your ranch.
Right through the house.
Right through the house.
And the barn. Right through the house and the barn. What I can remember, the trains, the little train that went along where Victory is now, and Victory was not there then. I could see and hear the train going through what is now Northridge. We called it Zelza over at Reseda Boulevard. And then you could see the Pacific Electric red cars coming out Sherman Way, and on a quiet morning you could hear them. You could hear the tooting of whistles on all three of those lines.
You could hear the red cars all the way over to where the ranch was?
Oh yes, and also hear the whistle up at Zelza.
My word. It must have been a quiet place then.
Well, just birds.
You lived on that ranch for how long?
Till I was 16.
Oh, so you really, did you see a lot of change during that first 16 years? Was there much growth?
Oh, yes, I remember when we had 2 police patrol cars for the whole valley, and it was really quite something when they began riding in automobiles instead of just seeing an occasional policeman on a motorcycle.
Oh, really? And did they come as far out as your ranch?
Occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. Was there much of a city? What was the closest actual, what would you call it, town or village or businesses?
Owens Mouth, Canoga, if you want to call it, was maybe 4 blocks of spotty stores. Reseda was about a block of spotty stores. Van Nuys was pretty good size. That was the largest thing nearer than either, say, San Fernando or Burbank.
Do you recall when the Van Nuys City Hall was built?
Oh yeah, sure. It was a big new thing.
How long ago would you have any recollection of what year that might have been?
Oh, I suppose late 20s.
It was. I don't recall when it was not there. I don't remember it's being built. Having grown up in North Hollywood, it was kind of spotty stores for a couple of blocks up and down Lankershim Boulevard. And I recall Reseda as being about a block on either side of Sherman Way, on Sherman Way, and then on either side of Sherman Way on Reseda Boulevard, but very sparse from there on out. Well, we both go back quite a long way in the San Fernando Valley, and I hope we can get together and reminisce some more about this. I hope you'll kind of think about what happened and be ready to talk again.
I'll have a seance.
Thank you so much. Good night.